Or we'll go for the Mexico. Figured it out.
Yes, I got it working.
And so that's why we're taking. And that was never a factor in what I did, because I knew the whole problem. However, that changed glass. And you have some person here, and some person there, and some person there, it's still doing it. So it's changed a lot. I'm here today, I will be here Tuesday. Regular meeting.
That one it is.
No.
Which Tuesday?
Next Tuesday.
Tuesday? Oh, this was just the 10th. I thought the same. So Tuesday.
Six.
And Shannon, we need to leave that one. I will probably.
Okay. So it's in there. There is a council meeting going on at the same time, so we might want to close the door, just so if there's noise of people coming in. We did have the council meeting on my schedule, so we're supposed to have gotten the council meeting.
Yes, I was supposed to be the code.
That was the original.
With-
That's what I had to say.
Yeah.
Okay, look at the agenda.
You're
Why
not.
do I have this city council?
But
Why is the
that's
city
why-
council meeting on my agenda?
And that's why this got planned. Yes, there is.
We got 2 minutes.
Yes, there is.
2 minutes.
The Danielle, my usual video that I played, I go to LA and right above West. I left my wallet.
It's what?
It's I left my wallet and also got up. I tried both West.
Oh. Sounds about right.
I have to send you a link. You guys send me a copy. I left my wallet.
You know the sign, yeah, they put it in the box. I also grew up in LA.
Yeah, there you go.
And I went to school basically.
You loyal to Vermont?
Let's see.
Okay. Oh, well, excuse me.
Go Trojans. Yeah.
Got a little kind of on the second. We're going to help the government meet. The second. I think that's the go with me. Rather than the target, is what we're going to start at.
Honestly, I never want to. Like, I can't even, I don't even think of my niece went on like a school trip. Like, I don't
And so you never went to
exactly.
you never went to Lockma Island? Because it's right there at, LA kind of big in there on the hill.
Yeah, probably.
And I mean, it's just the light post. Kind of maze they can put.
That's like when you live somewhere, you don't do any of the tourist stuff.
And that's actually where I would be on Friday night, because that's right next to where the academy is.
I don't know if anybody else is.
It looks like there's nobody waiting. I know that Ken can't make it today. And Mary will be at the council. So,
Yeah.
okay.
You ready to start?
Sure.
Okay. But probably better to the meeting to order or whatever. Would someone like to, I guess we can't even vote because we don't have a quorum at this time. We're a member short.
I thought we were and then got filled by Kent. Am I wrong?
I think we're still one down.
And
Let's check my minutes and count the number of people in the minutes, because I think there's something, I think we're one down.
is there one person who never attends? Is that the problem?
Well, no, because I include them in the number. And when I counted on the website, it seemed like we were only at like 6 instead of 7. Or, well, no, because you got 10 and what's her name, Christie? So those would be the only 2 people, other people in there. And then we had Jacob, but he's gone.
Right.
And I think we thought Kent was replacing Jacob.
Yeah.
But he wasn't. Kent was replacing somebody else. And Jacob puts us back down on it.
Okay.
But if someone wants to move to it.
Oh,
What's that?
I said, I don't know if we can do that,
Okay.
but I will move to approve. You want to go around
It's,
roll first?
oh, I guess we could do that. We could take roll, I guess.
Shannon Knight, vice chair.
There.
Vicky Olson, member. Danielle Choi, staff liaison.
And sure, why not?
I'll move to approve the.
Second, all those in favor? These are the words I've been trying to say for the last couple of meetings. I've never been able to remember them. I keep saying, yeah, let's vote. Anyway, so it's the approved. It's approved. I do not see anybody online with public comment. I do not see anybody in the room. I'm gonna assume we have no public comment. All right. Well, a couple of weeks ago, there was an NP meeting.
The August.
Anyway, I attended. Very long meeting. It did not go well.
Okay.
In fact, it was very horrible. It's the kind of meeting that when I went out, I was like, why, what am I doing? I was made it reminded me of that scene in Airplane, you know, where, 2 gentlemen are, feeling ill because they had chicken and frizzling on them, and then they're having a language barrier with a flight attendant, and Barbara Billingsley says, "What if I speak the language? I can interpret for you." These gentlemen are not happy with this, and let that be known. And Barbara Billingsley says, as the subtitles say, "Give me a break. If you don't want help, I won't help you." Which is not what she says in the movie, but I'm trying to keep them PG. This was pretty much my reaction after leaving that meeting, and, had to be up off the ledge, because I was just like, if they don't want help, then what the hell are we doing? Well, there was a meeting scheduled for Friday, that Friday, September 12th. With the president of the NAP and, Council President Baumgartner and Councilor Weinstein. Staff. I was invited to attend as for you, I believe. I was led to believe that it was canceled, and so I did not actually end up attending. My understanding it did happen, and the president of the NAP pretty much said, not what we need help doing. That's not what we want. And so it was decided that we are going to now do an episode of Friends, where Chandler and Ross are moving the couch in the hallway. And we're gonna pivot to, love my audience, to emergency preparedness and, something.
It was just suggested.
It was just suggested that we do that. So with this meeting was planned after we got our direct. And we were originally going to sit down with council and discuss ways that we could help the neighborhood association recruit and do that. We were informed that tonight's meeting was overbooked and we had a lot of things on the agenda, so they asked us to work amongst ourselves to come up with a plan with respect to the NAPs. And so this meeting was scheduled.
What was their biggest issue?
Why are you wasting my time? Is basically the inference I got from when I went to talk to them about having a joint meeting. I went to the NAP to put it out there because at that point we'd already had our agenda. Who knows when they meet? Their meeting for this month has been canceled at the last minute because they didn't. I think that they are a bit disorganized right now. I don't think that, biting my tongue right now so hard, I'm going to draw blood. There are neighborhood associations who welcome us and would like our help. But there are neighborhood associations who don't. And how the neighborhood associations work is that as a group, if one of them decides that, oh, we don't want to do that, they don't. By changing their plan, anyway. The president has decided that his neighborhood association and therefore he does not want our help. And I don't know how to get around that.
Robert Jester. Barrington Heights.
This is a person who doesn't know computer. And so doesn't, I'm not even gonna go anywhere about how do you, are you the president of the president, you can't organize anything. And you don't do email and I don't understand how you can do that. But that's not my job to understand that. I am not here to understand how we operate. I am here to take the direction of council, and it is my understanding, Council President Baumgartner was not there because she is still recovering from COVID, I believe. And my conversations with Mr. Bombington were that we are going to be pivoting to emergency preparedness for something else. Council has suggested. I don't know.
I don't understand why they you have to have the neighborhood participation in order to put the word out about what neighborhood associations are.
I don't think we have to, but in order to do a lot of what we had planned on doing, we do need their help and participation. Because I don't think amongst us, we're gonna be able to man food every week at a farmer's.
Well, wouldn't have put.
That point was, I brought up the farmer's market plan. I was trying to kind of explain the intentions, you know, at least as I understood, not as a CCI member, but as somebody who sits in on your meetings, you know, and try to, you know, explain and defend, right? One point that came up, you know, was, the disorganization that you mentioned. We do have a lot of very inactive NAs right now, and the president's feeling was that there would not be anybody who would want to volunteer to man a booth at a farmer's market also.
Yeah, and I don't think it has to be also.
No, I mean, you meant like at all. I think.
Yeah, and he's pretty much standing at the doorway saying, no, I'm not gonna do this. I'm not gonna let you guys do this. I'm not gonna help in any way, shape, or form. And then the NAs cannot be told what to do by the city council because they are not technically under the council's proviso.
No, the NAs who were created by council, they're part of the council charter. Council can, council founded them, right? Made them exist to begin with. So council could change the rules by which they exist, just the same as council could, you know, change the way tags are done. Very much the same situation, but I don't know that one has seniority or more weight in the eyes of council.
We don't need to make them do anything. All we wanted from them was their feedback on what might help. But if they don't want to give us that feedback, I don't think we're under any obligation to do anything that they, our job that we're tasked with is to help people be aware of how they can participate in city government, and neighborhood associations is one way to do that.
I did not, oh, go on, go on.
Oh, I was just saying, and your take to that was that they're like, the point of actually wanting to do that. Is that,
That was,
is it only
Again.
asking that because,
again, I don't want to say that about every neighborhood association because there are, I would say a good, I could probably name 4 or 5 that would welcome our help and would then go to their people and offer to help us. And if, I don't know why we have to go through this person to go to those. people.
Yeah.
I don't mind coming up with a plan where we go directly to the neighborhood associations themselves and say, we want to help you. And, all right, fine, these people don't want our help, these people don't want our help, these people don't want our help. You know, it doesn't matter. We're gonna send people your way anyway.
It's kind of counter to what
It's-
CCI is about, which is making sure that everybody has a voice.
And
right?
I'm not
And
gonna
if
say,
they're
oh,
saying we don't want their voices, that's closing people off to the public process, which is counter to what our purpose is.
agree 100,000% with that. I am under the
We should be
impression,
letting them dictate.
I am under the impression that there are some neighborhood associations that do not exist for the purpose that we think that they exist. They exist just to get together and, you know, and there are some that only get together once a year. And they don't want to waste their time on, I don't know, I don't get it, I would like to,
Which is, yeah, I don't think we should let them dictate
great,
what we, that would be nice.
great, then we can
They're
spend,
stifling.
then we can spend about a half hour tonight coming up with a game plan as to how we want to proceed. So that we can then present that to council to say, this is how we would like to proceed, given the parameters of what have been set up.
so when that sort of shut down, I mean, sort of shutting down.
I wanna stop right now, and I wanna give Danielle a chance to
Well,
go into some detail about how that meeting went as well, or is there anything else that you?
No, I'm happy to talk about it. I just wanted to, like, did you have a question?
yeah, from that, was it council that recommended a pivot to, okay, we think you guys are more helpful here because there's a receptiveness here, because I'd say the only thing about it is if we are spending a ton of time against entities that are like, don't want your help, and we're actually gonna like pass that word around, then, I mean, it's good our time, more wisely used in an area where they're like, we need to see you guys step in and it should make a difference. Versus for any. I don't know, so that's where I wanted to get, was it council's recommendation? So, okay.
Well, including questions, but we would do people, and we send it to the Actually, go ahead and,
I don't blame you. I wouldn't want to go to those meetings either. You know, I'm thankful that my neighborhood association isn't dysfunctional and functions rather well.
Well, and it would feel different to me if there had been a level of like acceptance, like, yes, we see you guys can be helpful, and this is how we work together. And again, yeah, great to hear your take, but again, just if we're like actually flashing versus.
Yeah. And what happened was that I was turned down before I even got the chance, before we even got the chance to present that. Our meeting tonight was supposed to be so that we could strategize how we could go to the neighborhood association president meeting and present our plan. Given the parameters that city council gave us, that's what we were supposed to be doing. You know, and not taking that time out of our regular meeting when we do our regular business. Because this is something that we wanted to do in anticipation of this meeting so that we could go in there before.
To answer your question about council, there was only one counselor there at this meeting, Counselor Bonington, so he can't speak on behalf of all of council, right? He was supportive of the idea of emergency preparedness. I don't know that he can't issue a directive of any kind, and, you know, we'll have to revisit the work plan if you want to change priorities. But yeah, he can't speak on behalf of council to say definitively, this is the direction you should go in, but he was supportive.
I don't understand how emergency preparedness relates to our purpose at all.
Well, the idea being that, that's one area that the city does need help in. We used to have a lot of emergency preparedness programs. They're especially, it's something that the neighborhood associations were willing to collaborate on. And it's something that the city has worked with, like, faith leaders and various, you know, groups from the community stakeholders, but it's not something that the city fully provides on its own, right? Like the Back Your Neighborhood program, the one we used to have, you know, I know folks would love to see those back. I think that that's, you know, a shortcoming that we have that could be addressed. That would help.
Okay, but the CCI is a state mandated thing.
I'm just repeating.
I know. So the state mandate for this group is to ensure that the public is involved in land use process. That land use process, biggest place they can be involved in is their neighborhood association. And so we are not, if I bring this back to, as much as tried to get our bylaws changed to open up the scope, if I bring this back to land use, which is what the state requires of this committee, pushing people to get involved in their neighborhood association where land use applications are first brought is holding what state requiring.
So we refer people to groups that then are like, you know.
No, everybody, it's not like, so we don't have to push the, get involved in the board or what do they call it?
The leadership.
Leadership.
Go to the meeting.
They just go to a meeting. Anybody can do it. They are supposed to be open to any citizen to go to their local neighborhood association. That's where they hear about a land use issue that's going to be related. Now, typically what happens is that most people don't show up to the meeting till there's a land use application that's gonna strongly affect them, you know, if 70 homes are being built store to them, they're gonna show up to that meeting, right?
And
It's roads.
that's when they learned that that the neighborhood association is a chaotic mess, and they never show back up.
Because they tend to be very confrontational. I would say. A lot of fighting. People want stop sign. Would park their boat on the street. Or someone wants to park their boat on the street, you know, so they start. They come like not nice places. So
I love trees. I love trees. If I hear the word about trees, I'm gonna uproot one and beat somebody with it. You get, that's kind of. Yeah,
So sometimes they can be not so kind of places, and I think that's what's as unless they're all don't want this development, so how can we all get together and try to stop this development unless there's a common bond that we all care about? There. Want to show it.
So. If, and again, that's what we were about to go on notes, you know, talking about, but. What would the pivot be as far as how to make a positive impact in this arena when they said, cooperate, don't really want your help. So what do you see doing with folks?
I think sticking to what we originally talked about was having more of a like marketing campaign, letting people know neighborhood associations aren't HOAs. That's the biggest thing. Your neighborhood associations not HOA. Most people
let me just.
don't go because they think it's an
Let
HOA.
me, let me back up a bit and go to the NAP meeting where they were talking about how, you know, John Williams, the city manager, had talked to them about this, and doesn't come here and doesn't share this. But he did do one thing, and then he changed the neighborhood association's website so that it says that they're not neighborhood associations, not homeowners associations. I was like, but that's all well and good. That was, you know, that was us and Danielle specifically. So you should be thanking us for that.
Right.
But his whole idea was that he, by having this position, has this one-way tunnel to John Williams, and he's going to be the conduit for all information that comes
And
through
that
that,
shouldn't,
and then trickle down to everybody. You can try to clear that. for
Yeah.
this.
it sounds like he's hour long.
I can go on.
Shouldn't be doing by
No, and I agree. And
informing the public, because he doesn't like it.
And I love the tenacity of this argument that we say, hell no, we are not going to pivot. Figure out how to get this couch up the stairs without pivoting. And let's, you know, do what we want to do with help and marketing and help Danielle with her job of communications to all of the people out there. Which I thought was our function. All for emergency preparedness, I think is very important as well, but it needs to be a group of that works with the fire department, the police department, the county, state, because there are organizations that coordinate. So. We have a bunch of ideas. And now we just need to, you know, put it all into, you know, not cute little, nice little marketing that we can, instead of just going to one meeting, we go to different. do a slideshow, just say, you know, help it. Again, what the Dalai Lama told me while I was sitting in the Jewish synagogue, if you can't help people, if you can't help people, if you can't, at least don't hurt them. You know, then that's what we want you guys to help us. And if you don't want to help us, at least don't hurt. You know, because we're just trying to do good for you. And I believe government works better when all people are involved. Not just a- So,
Well, I say we come up with just an outline, the way. We need like a fire brochure, it's like a neighborhood association, everyone's. And vote, but I think we could go to the neighborhood associations that would like us to get the feedback on what they want in all of the materials that we put out. Then just plan on going to maybe one farmer's market.
it'd probably be better to do music because nobody is really going to a booth during the movie.
Sure.
It'd be- And here's the thing, I had conversations with the Arts and Culture Committee. They're all for this. They wanted, like I said, they wanted to have a little place where the kids could be doing, you know, art, and painting the rocks and all this sort of thing. And I'm thinking, let's share a booth. You distract the kid, we'll distract the parents, you know? Let's work together on something like that.
And we can even actually, makes me think, expand this whole thing to, and then maybe this takes it from being this neighborhood associations to more general outreach, as there's also ways you can get involved with it. It's a culture
See,
commission,
exactly,
sustainability, EDC, CCI. there's all
Exactly.
These are all the ways you can get involved. Change it, that could be our.
It's in the work plan already.
One thing.
Yeah.
What other tags are mentioned in the work plan?
yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
It was emailed. I could try to pull it up if you like.
But yeah, that
Oh,
could
we
be our
might not have, we might not have gone through it,
general outreach.
because I alluded to it. And they didn't know we took on through it.
That's true. Since they approved it. I don't think we have.
Oh,
I think they approved it and we have that next.
okay.
Because
Yeah.
we were in anticipation of this one.
Right, you're right. So if you've never seen it.
You've seen it, but we just never discussed it as a group.
Well, it was, up to two people.
Yeah.
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 So that should definitely be on our Tuesday agenda.
So you two just,
We don't have to adopt it, it's been dictated to us.
It's our
This
work
is what we
plan,
do.
so we can create like.
And now we take
how
this
we're
and
going to accomplish this.
expand on it. That's what the plan is. So maybe that's what we give as homework for, you know, Tuesday is go through that, each of us. Yeah, Daniel said to it. We all go through that and we come up with ways that we want to expand on that. Just knowing what our limitations are. And right now, our only limitations are is that we cannot converse with the NAs as a group. We have to do it individually, which is the only pivot we are doing right now. That is the only pivot we are doing. Our game plan is still the same, but instead of dealing with them all at the present at the same time. We're dealing with them individually.
You were the ones that wanted,
Exactly.
but their outreach will still be to everyone, even if they're in there. they'll know
Exactly.
about it, they can show
Exactly.
them
Exactly.
they want to pay for it.
And he's misinformed because my understanding is there's only one inactive NA at the moment. And I don't believe it's fully inactive. I thought that Phil really was trying to reconstitute it.
No, there's at least 2 or 3 that are in your favorite.
There's some that have been inactive for a couple of years now. And then there are others that are active but are missing key positions like the president or
Yeah, I knew that.
kind of in transition.
And why would you want to have to rebuild all of that?
I don't think one guy is thinking. Especially can't speak for the neighborhood associations that are enacted because they weren't there represented. They need a voice.
Exactly, and,
Those citizens need a voice.
and like I say, I know of at least two others that, would welcome our.
And I think it used to be a thing like at our booth, like if someone said, I'm in this neighborhood association that's inactive. Oh, your
Talk to
neighborhood
Danielle.
association is inactive. Because it doesn't have any leadership, would be interested.
Exactly, talk to Danielle, she's not doing anything.
Our goal is just to get people to show up at the meeting, not to stop any of the neighborhood association does at that meeting. It's really get bodies.
I think some of the neighborhood associations are concerned that by us sending people, it will disrupt what they
Because
have
they like-
enjoyed as their brain.
Right now, they have only their own opinion.
Well, you know.
That's not.
That's not the
involving
city
the
I,
community.
that's not the city I want to live in. All right, well, do we have any other business that we need to discuss, or are we, good with our homework?
That's the only thing on the agenda.
And we'll,
To clarify the whole, we get to work plan. So look at it and then I think.
it's, there is do this, do this, do this. We need to now come up with ways, how do we do this? Yeah, this is what we have to do, how do we do that? And still trying to figure out. I believe some of these are just that small, like Skyline Ridge and Maryland, why haven't they merged it? Those connected dots.
Yeah, I mean, our thing is like, just in talking to people who will get back. That we will then get to council. Or. Consider the future.
Even if we can put a questionnaire that we can give to the neighborhood association, that they can share with their membership, saying, hey, people want to know what your thoughts are on the neighborhood association,
People don't see the signs that are out. At a different location, that would be better,
Exactly.
like, just doesn't help. We're gonna want to change and it's not a good way.
So we can take that information and
Not making decisions. How they respond. Find things all.
as someone who has looked at all of the operating agreements, they are, you can't tell them because each one is how it operates is different. Each one doesn't even have the same definition of a forum.
I personally would think that that part of it should change.
And that's where it gets tricky with the
But-
act of council.
Right.
If one of these says, I don't want to change my, then you can't have one that includes all.
It's like one has like some ridiculous 10% of the membership has to show up and vote on anything, and where are you gonna have,
In Willamette, that would be 500 people.
several hundred people together in one space? Like, the where they meet doesn't even hold them.
No. No, and we had an active meeting and we had maybe 2 dozen.
I mean, I think the largest one. The Willamette, I can remember, is when they.
All right, well, if there's nothing further, I'm glad we were able to sit and, you know, kind of hash this out. You know, and just, yeah, we're on Tuesday with this new game plan. Really, you know,
So focusing on neighborhood association. So they just all its opinions. Neighbor association.
we are focusing on the community that we want involved, which is what we are supposed to be doing. And we know where to send them. So,
Well, for the whole plan. All the plan.
let me tell you where to go. No, that's probably not a good one.
But I come up with some.
All right, well then, if nobody has any objections, I will adjourn this at 6:36.